What's up everyone, some guy here with another Alliance War video. Season 24, war number 12, last war of the season. We are versing against StaRa. I don't think we've faced them before. I believe they are a fairly strong alliance. I think they consistently finish in plat 1, I think. But going on path 5 here, we have this hit monkey on an M.O.D.O.K knockdown. I will be using guillotine since we do have an apocalypse boss. This is usually the fight where I ramp her up. It's a very easy fight. You just I don't plan on knocking hit monkey down or anything. I'm just gonna play with the protection on, and guillotine 2099 should be hitting pretty hard towards the end once her hit combo goes up. Plan here is basically just bait out SP1s and punish it. Yeah, that's it. Very slow fight. Just try not to get hit basically. Alright, we're finally at the end here. Guillotine's ramp up fight usually takes forever. Luckily, Hitmonkey's health pool is not that big even at rank 3, so that's why I always use him to ramp up Guillotine. But moving on to the next fight here, we have this Mordo on Ebb and Flow knockdown and heavy hitter. He used to be pretty popular here, just like Nick Fury's Second Life. To get openings for Mordo, you usually have to try and punish his heavy attack, and if you take that away, it's a little bit harder to find openings. But my strategy here is just to push him to the wall, so that way when he gains his power gain phase, he becomes very passive and allows me to use my heavy here. So right now I'm going to charge my heavy. It's free. I'm just going to charge it up to all the way to max temperature and get the knockdown to shut down the protection, and then go in for some punish. Unfortunately, he caught me in the middle of dashing back, and but luckily I had max limber on, so I was able to actually get an interception right after coming out of the SP1, or getting hit by the SP1. I also threw on the SP3 reduction boost, just in case if he wasn't cooperative and goes to an SP3. Mordo's SP3 doesn't hit that hard, but I would like to minimize as much damage as I could, just in case. The SP3 doesn't quite kill him, but the incinerates will. But yeah, pretty easy fight for Torch. A little bit annoying, I got clipped there. Would have came out with 100% health, but moving on to section 2, we have this Mojo. This fight was a pain, so I saved my pre-fight for Mojo just because he was the hardest mystic on my path. And so I'm applying the flame on here, and I double check to make sure it's on since of all the pre-fight bugs. And I go into fight, and it just keeps loading and loading and loading, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm about to get the connection issue, and this war at this point is already really close, and we are losing. And we actually do only have a multiplier times 8, or sorry, times 7. So this is only a tier 2 war. So if we lose this war, we may get bumped down to plat 2, which is not good. So we do want to have this win to secure plat 1. But yeah, I do have to restart the app and go back in. And of course, I lose half health of Torch. That's when I knew it didn't work. And I double checked to make sure the attack bonus was there. And of course, it's gone. And of course, the pre-fight is also used up, even though I wasn't even in the fight. So very annoyed of this situation. I go back out and go back in just to make sure the pre-fight is also still gone. But yeah, very annoyed, and my boost is still on, so I have to just basically throw some potions at Torch. This is also my last Torch fight, so very annoyed. Could have not have to use any of these potions, especially when the health boost is on. But this fight is still very doable without the Nova Flame. It's just gonna take a little bit longer than with the Nova Flame. Plan is just to try not to finish any of his prompts to minimize his hater, and also get some intercepts in to shut down the protection. And with the intercepts, or with the passive fury with the protection down, the incinerates should do a lot more damage, and the power sting should do a decent amount of damage as well. I'm just gonna be baiting out his SP1s. I don't mind taking it on a block. This is my last Torch fight, like I said, so it doesn't matter how much health I finish the fight with, as long as I get the solo. So yeah, it's a pretty good matchup for Torch. Very annoyed that I didn't get the full attack bonus. It does count as a death with the connection issue. But moving on to the next fight, we have this Rhino on Ebb and Flow Intercept and Redouble Determination. Very common placement for Rhino. I used to use Quake, but I have timed out with Quake on this node just because of Rhino's high physical resistance, especially when duped. And I've also used She-Hulk, and I have died with She-Hulk because of the mixed up with the passive furies and the protection. Basically, the Ebb and Flow Intercept passive fury and She-Hulk's own passive fury gets lumped together, so I don't know when the Ebb and Flow Intercept passive fury will end and when his protection will come back and purify all the debuffs, including stuns. So I've gotten hit and died because of that. But I am using Nick Fury this time just because I do need to use him for some of the mini boss later. I was a little bit worried at first just because of the Redouble Determination. I was worried that the bleed will give Rhino too much power, but it actually ended up working out very well and actually helping out, made the fight a lot easier. Even with the protection up, the bleed should do plenty of damage with taking down Rhino. And I wasn't boosted. I actually didn't throw any attack boost. It was just only health boost, so I wasn't gonna trigger protection at all. Basically, his SP1 and SP2 are both very easy to evade and punish. And also, upon pairing him, I just do 4 lights. Because the first medium also gives a bleed on Rhino, so that's just gonna help minimize the power gain and control the fight a little bit more. The Redouble Determination also helped because I was able to constantly push Rhino to like at least a bar of power or sometimes 2, and get my openings by baiting his special and punishing it. That way I can minimize needing to parry him and minimize the risk of him going unblockable. So yeah, it was a very simple fight for Nick Fury. Alright, moving to the mini boss island here, we have this M.O.D.O.K on Stunning Reflection. I've taken this fight a few times by now, so I've gotten pretty used to it. M.O.D.O.K is a large champ, so I'm still not using any attack boost just in case I trigger any protection. Plan is just basically to not parry and just bait out his heavy and just go for the openings. And whenever his shield is down, it has I think 7-second cooldown before it comes back up again. So just make sure you get your combo in before the shield comes back, or else he will auto block your last hit and he can basically punish you for it. But yeah, very simple fight for Nick Fury. So right here I messed up and accidentally ended my combo into his auto block, but luckily I was able to throw my SP1 into his block to give myself some distance to recover from it. So yeah, it's a very easy fight for Nick. I just got to keep an eye on his M.O.D.O.K's shield. But going to the next fight here, we have this Stealth Spidey on Brute Force and Limber. Unfortunately, we did not have a White Mag pre-fight to be able to place on this node, so I will be taking it with the Limber. It still shouldn't be too hard of a fight for Nick Fury, especially if he gets into his second phase. I do make the mistake of always baiting out Stealthy's SP1. I don't know why I kept doing that. I think it was probably because it was a lot easier to evade, but his SP1 also refreshes his evade charges, and I wasn't able to keep myself above 5 tactical charges for the most part. So he kept triggering evade on me, and he was also being very passive. So the brute force degen just kept ticking me down. So it was pretty annoying. I was doing a good job of keeping in mind of his evade though. So I didn't get clipped by him because he does hit pretty hard if he does crit. But yeah, it was a very long fight. I just didn't play very well. I should have just kept pushing him to SP2s more. At least his SP2 doesn't give him a evade charge. But I kept baiting his SP1s for some reason. I was probably a little bit nervous going to this fight without White Mag pre-fight. Got a little bit spoiled by White Mag these past few wars. But yeah, now that I've used up Limber, I just have to basically bait out his heavy attacks. But I wasn't still too worried because I knew I had a second life to rely on, and plus Nick Fury, when he gets into his second life, he can basically keep his tactical charges and just ignore the evade from him, and it'll become a lot easier. But I would rather save that till like if I really need it. His SP2 does hit pretty hard on a block. I can fully evade it, but I just didn't want to risk it. So now that I am in his second phase, I just need to throw one SP1 and I should be set up for the rest of the fight. But yeah, by the time I get there, he's pretty much already dead. Pretty safe fight for Nick Fury. I just got to remember to push him to SP2s more next time. But finally, we're at the Apocalypse boss again, rank 3. We'll be using Guillotine ramped up. Have 30% green boost and a 25% health boost. I did throw on the invulnerability boost just because it was a very close war. I'm pretty confident on soloing this fight, but I still wanted to make sure I don't get clipped or anything. Basically just going to be throwing a lot of light intercepts. Guillotine's light intercepts has a very far reach, so it's pretty safe to do so. And just bait out his heavy and just turtle up whenever he has a bar of power and just push him to his SP2. I'm just more comfortable fully evading his SP2 rather than his SP1. Plus it makes it that there's less specials to be evading. And then I just have to make sure I throw my SP2s to get my combos up, and it should be a wrap. And this SP2 should be able to finish him off. I think between all the Apocalypse counters, Guillotine is probably the fastest. She's just a little bit delicate just because if you lose her combo, it's pretty much over. So right now I'm just checking the scores. It's pretty close. We are a little bit behind. Unfortunately, we do lose this war. Neither side does die from there, and we just lose by 3 attack bonuses. I know 2 of them were from Nick Fury bugs and 2 of them were from connection issues, including mine. Luckily, we do end up in Plat 1, even though it's the last place, the 30th place. But hey, rank 1 in Plat 1 and rank 30th in Plat 1, they still get the same rewards. But yeah, it was very close, too close for comfort. I think our points between us and Plat 2's number 1 were less than 50k, so it was very, very close. I think the previous war, the tie, also messed with our points as well. If we would have won that war, then we would have been in tier 1, and even if we lost our last war in tier 1, it would have been pretty safe in Plat 1. But we made it. That's all that matters. But yeah, that is it for season 24. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.